Quick update on the Duke. So engine's in frame now, which I'm really pleased about. That was a bit of a job doing that by myself, but I think it's probably actually easier getting it in the frame than out of the frame, because I had the rear axle on and an axle stand. I used the old forks as a front stabilizer, and the pry bar just to give it a bit of stop it rocking over or anything like that. But that managed to go in pretty flawlessly. So yeah, I've just been pottering really, just taking a bit at a time, getting the wiring loom on. I did the wiring loom actually when the frame was bare. It just there's a lot of threading through sort of awkward gaps and figuring out, so I didn't want to do that whilst the engine's in, but that's all gone really well. I mean, the front dash assembly, I don't know if you can see it there, it's just an absolute mix of wires and relays all going different routes, but luckily I took so many photos and videos, and I think that really helps when you're putting stuff back together. You've got a reference point, and definitely things like the Haynes manual doesn't show you things like wiring loom and exactly, you know, where the clips go, and things like, you know, these rubber grommets all have an exact position. So I recorded all of those as I took it apart. So battery box is in. I've actually powered it up ignition wise, so ignition is there. Headstock's all torqued up properly. I think that was 14 Newton meters, and then back 30 degrees. Just make sure there's, you know, the forks feel smooth and not over tight. Coil packs are in, engine's in. I've got to order a new clutch, so it's having a complete new clutch and basket, so that'll be next. The oil's drained out, new filters in. It's got another oil filter that goes behind that bolt, so that's all been cleaned. That was in perfect condition, so I didn't need replacing. Swing arms on, new brake disc, ECU's in place and all that wiring. So yeah, looking good. So it's just a question now really of cleaning all the bits as I go along, really, just to make sure everything that goes on the bike is new or as clean as it can be. So for example, these grips were, it's a shame I can't snip in bits of the old really in this video to sort of show you like a before and after, but new grips, new bar ends, all brand new Ducati bolts, new levers, so yeah, just to freshen up, and also getting this black plastic, when it's been left out, goes sort of like powdery and pale shade of grey, so that's brought that up nicely. Again, this side, it's a brand new throttle grip, which has the sort of cable assembly as part of that, or certainly the plastic bit that goes in here. That's all cleaned up really nicely. Again, brand new nuts and bolts on that, brand new throttle cable, so there'll be no issues with sticky cables or anything, which isn't ideal on any bike. Yeah, just cleaning up things like, I mean, there's the rear brake lever, rear Brembo, new pads on order, so that get new pads, new banjo bolts, new oil brake seals have got to go on there. So new battery, that's all charged up, ready to go. So I think probably next from here is maybe chain on, so I can pre-lube the engine, sort of spin that round by hand, the back wheel in gear, just to get some oil going around the engine, and then radiator, water pipes, exhaust, throttle grips, and then I don't think it'll be too long before we hear a fire up.